Hello family and friends and fellow YouTubers, it's Kim here from Kim's Country Corner, and I am here in the Hancock homestead because it is time to make homemade salsa. And the recipe that I'm going to be using is from the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. The recipe that we're doing today is called Fresh Vegetable Salsa, and this recipe will make 10 8-ounce jars, which are the little jelly jars, or 5 pint jars, and we're going to be doing the pint jars today. And for the 5 pint jars, these are the ingredients that I will need. 7 cups of chopped cored peeled tomatoes, and that's what I'm working on now. Now if you guys watched me do yesterday's video, you saw where I had blanched the tomatoes, peeled them, cored them, and got rid of any bad spots. And then I just stuck them in the ice box overnight until today. Well, today I need to chop them into bite-sized bits. Now you can do this lots of different ways. If you're using fresh tomatoes that have not been frozen, they're very easy to chop with a knife. You just cut them, quarter them, and start chopping. You can also use a food processor. Now, I'm using frozen tomatoes, and they're not quite as easy to chop with a knife. And I have used my food processor in the past, but it really grinds up your tomatoes into small bits, and we wanted ours a little bit chunkier this year. We're going to try a little bit of a chunkier version. So what I am doing is I am using kitchen scissors, and I just take out a tomato and I just cut it with my scissors. And because the tomatoes are soft, I have found that the scissors work much better than what the knife did. And I will bring you back when we're ready to add the rest of the ingredients. Okay friends, so since we have the tomatoes prepared and ready to go, I want to go ahead and read through the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving's recipe to tell you what all ingredients we're going to need besides just the tomatoes. So, to make either 10 8-ounce jars, which are jelly jars, or 5 pint jars, which is what we're going to be doing, are the pint-sized jars. Here's what I will need. 7 cups of chopped, cored, peeled tomatoes. 2 cups of finely chopped onions. 1 cup of coarsely chopped bell pepper. Now I like to use the different colors of bell peppers. Even though it calls for green, I like to use green, yellow, and red. I just think it adds nice coloring to it. And so since it only needs 1 cup of the bell peppers, what I do is I just use a 1/3 cup of each color. Okay? 8 jalapeno peppers, seeded and finely chopped. Well, we do not like that many jalapeno peppers. It makes it too hot for our taste buds. So there are 8 chopped up in here, but I will only use half of this per recipe. Okay, so we go with 4 jalapeno peppers. 3 cloves of garlic, finely chopped. We don't like a strong garlic taste, especially one of my daughters. So I go with lighter garlic also. I only use 2 cloves and have finely chopped them. Okay, 1 can of the tomato paste. Now you can make your own tomato paste, of course, but it takes a long time. So I just buy my Hunt's tomato paste. And you need a 5.5 ounce can. These are 6-ounce cans, so close enough. And then 3/4 cup of white vinegar. So I have out the white vinegar. 1/2 cup of loosely packed, finely chopped cilantro. Okay, well the first year we did it with a half a cup of cilantro. It was too strong of a taste for us. So the following year I split that in half and found that that was the perfect, my ice machine. Okay, and 1/2 cup of loosely packed, finely chopped cilantro. Okay, well in the past when we used a half a cup of the cilantro, it was too strong of a taste for us. As you can tell by now, we have very mild taste buds. So we decreased it the following year to a 1/4 cup, and that was the perfect measurement for us. Okay, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of the cumin, okay? And that worked out okay. Now, you're not really supposed to alter these recipes because you have to have your acid balanced out, okay? So the most important thing is that you get the tomatoes and the vinegar portions right. You can kind of jiggle around a little bit on the seasonings, but you know, it's very important that you have your acid level right for the canning process. And that involves the number of tomatoes versus your vinegar. Okay, so now that we have all of our ingredients, step 1 says, in a large stainless steel saucepan, which I have back here ready to go, combine tomatoes, onions, green peppers, jalapeno peppers, garlic, tomato paste, vinegar, cilantro, and cumin. Bring to a boil over medium-high heat, stirring constantly. Once brought to a boil, reduce heat and boil gently, stirring frequently until thickened for about 30 minutes. Okay? And while you're waiting for your salsa to cook, you can prepare your canner, jars, and lids. So that's what we will be doing now. Alright, so 7 cups of tomatoes, 2 cups of onion, 1 cup of coarsely chopped green pepper. Once again, I'm going to use all 3 colors, so I'm going to do a 1/3 cup of the green, a 1/3 cup of the yellow. Aren't those yellows just pretty? Okay, and a 1/3 cup of the red. And that will make a nice, beautiful looking salsa. Alright, and then I need to do half of the jalapenos here. So, which I think is going to be about a 1/3 cup of them. Yeah. Alright, and then a 1/3 cup of the jalapenos. Alright. Then it says 3 cloves of garlic. Okay, so here is my cloves of garlic going in. 1 can of tomato paste. Okay. Three-fourths cup of white vinegar. Okay, now this is a 1 cup measure, so I'll only do 3/4 of that. All right. Let's see, I'm going to stick this back in the onions there. 1/2 cup of loosely packed, finely chopped cilantro. Okay, we are doing a 1/4 cup. So here's the cilantro. That's what it looks like. Okay? 1/4 cup. 1/2 cup was just too much for us. Okay? 1/2 teaspoon of ground cumin. Okay, so here's my cumin. Here's my measuring teaspoon. All right. Now, let me bring you in for a close-up shot of this beautiful mixture. All right, so here's a quick shot of the ingredients in case you want to make note here of how I've got them set out. Of course, onion, your different bell peppers, your jalapeno pepper, your vinegar, your 2 different spices there, your 2 different spices, the cloves, and then the paste. All right, now let me show you the mixture over here. Doesn't that just look beautiful? And now I'm going to stir it all together. Put that paste off the side and work it down in there. You can see the green peppers and the yellow peppers, the jalapeno peppers, the tomatoes, bright red tomatoes. Alright, so I'm going to get all of this stirred together and I'm going to bring it to a boil. And then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and prepare a second batch here. Alright, so there are my 2 batches of salsa. Okay, so friends, both of these pots are now at a low boil. So I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for 30 minutes. It may need a little bit longer. It may need less time. I will be checking on it occasionally. But I'm going to set my timer for 30 minutes as a basis. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to clean up this mess here, put my ingredients away. My jars are back here. They have already been through the dishwasher, so they're ready to go. But I do need to get out the canner and start getting my canning equipment set up. So I will be back. Talk to y'all in a bit. Okay, friends, well, the timer just went off to tell me my salsa is ready, and I do believe it is. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with the 30 minutes. And while I was waiting for the salsa to cook, I went ahead and got all my canning supplies ready to go. So I have my jars. They have been pre-washed. I got out the canner and I put the number of jars that it will hold, which is 8. Now the recipe says that between these 2 batches I should get 10 jars of salsa. I usually end up getting a few more, but we'll see. But right now my canner holds 8 jars, so that's what I have in here. Getting hot. Okay, you don't have to bring them to a boil, but you do want them hot. After you fill them, then you will bring your water to a boil. But right now they're just in there hot. Okay, and then I have my lids, which you also have to heat up. I have them ready to go. And then you do not have to heat up the rings, but I always do. I always just put my rings and lids in the same pan and heat them all up at the same time. You don't have to bring it to a boil. You just want to get them very hot. Okay? Alright, and that's what this magnet is for, is to help you get them out of that hot water. Alright, in fact, let me go through my equipment real quick. You have your canner, which is filled 3/4 of the way up with water. You have your jars, and I have 8 jars in the canner, and these are the extras. You have your rings that go on top of the jars. The rings come in 2 different sizes. You can have wide mouth, which is what I'll need for my pint jars, and you also have small mouth, okay? And they're usually for like jelly jars or quart jars that have the real small mouths for juices. And then you have your lids, and they also come in 2 sizes, wide mouth and small mouth, okay? And we're using wide mouth today. I have the magnet, okay? and that's for getting your lids and rings out of your hot water. And then I have a ladle for filling my jars. I also have a funnel. This is a jar grabber for putting your jars into the hot water and taking them out of the hot water. And then this is a head spacer because you want your, let me see what it says on the head for this. A 1/2 inch. Okay, every recipe will tell you leave so much head space. And so this will help me measure the 1/2 inch head space that I need to leave. These items here, you can buy in sets, okay? You can buy a set where you will get the grabber, the magnet, the measure, and the funnel all in a set. All right. The rings you can use year after year. However, the lids you can only use one time. And you can buy them in boxes of, I think, 12. I think it comes 12 lids to a box. All right, and then I also have some water here for wiping off the rim to make sure we get a good seal. All right, so let me go ahead and set my salsa over here so we can get started. Alright, so step 3 was ladle the hot salsa into hot jars, leaving 1/2 inch head space. Remove air bubbles and adjust head space if necessary by adding or subtracting salsa. Wipe rim, center lid on jar, screw band down until resistance is met, and then increase to fingertip tight. And you always want to make sure that you're going hot into hot, okay? That's why your jars need to be hot, because your sauce or salsa will be hot, okay? So, turn these burgers off real quick. All right, so I got out my hot jar here. I'm going to set it on a plate just to try to avoid a mess a little bit. All right, I'm going to use my funnel. I'm going to use my ladle to ladle in my salsa. See how beautiful that is? All right. I'm going to measure the 1/2 inch head space. This thing has different increments on it. Alright, so I should know this is inch, and so the 1/2 inch is going to be right there. Alright, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to need a little bit more. Alright, another thing that you need to do before you measure a head space though is to mush down your ingredients inside to make sure you get rid of any air pockets. Okay, you do that with this header spacer, and then you measure your head space. Okay, that will be just right. The reason you want to do that is because as it cooks it will push up, okay, and you don't want your lids coming off. Alright, then I'm going to wipe off the rim because I don't want any residue on that rim. I want to make sure I get the rim wiped off so that I have a nice seal. Alright, I'm going to get one of the lids. Okay, I'm going to place that on the center here. Get one of the rings. Screw on tight, fingertip tight. Alright, and then it is ready to set over here until I'm ready to put them all in at the same time. Alright, so let me do another jar. Get out my jar. Always make sure you pour that water away from you. Okay. I am going to use my slotted spoon because I want to get rid of a little bit of that liquid that's still in there. So I'm going to use a slotted spoon to get rid of a little bit of the liquid. Alright, take my tool here, or I'm going to take my tool here, I'm going to push that down, get rid of any air pockets. Alright, I'm going to measure my head space, 1/2 inch, okay, put on a lid, whoops, nope. Always wipe down. If you don't wipe down, you might have a residue on there, and that will prevent a good seal. So always wipe down your ring, the top of your jar. Alright, now the lid. Alright, now the ring. And screw on fingertip tight. Alright. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish dishing up. Okay friends, so I was able to get 5 jars out of that first batch, which is what they say you should get. Sometimes I'll get a little bit more, but today it came out just like they said, 5 jars. Alright, let's do the next batch. My friends, my battery died, but I am able to tell you that I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the first batch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the second batch, with just a tiny bit, probably another jar left over, but I have run out of lids. So this batch here, I will go ahead and put in a jar, but I will just put it into the ice box and we will use it fresh. So if you have enough left that you can't make a full jar, or you run out of lids like I did, you can use it. You just have to refrigerate it and then use it up right away. Okay, so that's what I was able to get left. So this will be a nice sampler. Okay? Alright, but these jars are now ready to go into the canner. So I need to bring this water to a boil. Alright, step 4. Place jars in canner, ensuring that they are completely covered with water. Bring to a boil and process both the 8-ounce and the pint jars for 20 minutes. Remove canner lid, wait 5 minutes, and then remove jars. Alright, so let's do that step. Alright, it's boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and put in my jars. And I think I can get 8 in, but I'm just going to do 5 at a time. Put on my canner lid. Alright. And I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. Alright. I'll be back. Okay friends, so the timer is going off telling me that they have been boiling for 20 minutes, but now I need to remove the lid and boil for an additional 5 minutes. So I'm going to reset my timer for 5 minutes. Alright, and I'll be back to remove the jars in 5 minutes. Okay friends, so that's the timer for the additional 5 minutes without the lid. So I'm going to turn off my timer here. And then I'm going to grab my jar grabber. I'm going to remove these 5 jars. Now we should start listening for pops. That would mean that they have sealed. You do not need to wipe the water off the top, just let it evaporate on its own. Alright, now I'm going to load up the next 5. Alright, I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes, and then the second batch will be ready. Put the lid on. The first 20 you do with the lid, the last 5 you do without the lid. Alright, and these, I know I heard 2 pops. Yeah, I see 1, 2. So we should be hearing more pops soon. Alright, I will be back. Okay friends, so that's the alarm for the second batch of 20 minutes. So I'm going to turn the alarm off. I'm going to reset it for 5 minutes. Alright, and I'll remove the lid for that last 5 minutes. Alright, we're almost done. Alright, so there's the 5-minute timer for the last batch here. Let's go ahead and get them out. Here. So 5 from the first batch, 5 from the second batch, 10 and a half pint jars altogether. That's a good batch. Alright, 2 more just popped. Okay friends, so we've been hearing them pop. And for me, that's always meant that they were sealed and could be cooled and then put away. And so I would take off the bands and I would do my fingertip test to make sure that they were indeed sealed, because if they weren't sealed you wouldn't be able to do that. Okay? However, I had a viewer watch one of my videos and leave me a comment, and she said, oh, you took your bands off so early. She said, I always thought you were supposed to leave them on for at least 24 hours. So I dug out the ball book and I read up on what they suggested, and they do indeed suggest that you leave these outer bands on for at least 12 hours. 12 to 24 hours is the recommended time. So that is what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to go ahead and leave those bands on for 12 hours until they're completely cooled, and then I will remove the outer bands and store them away, because you do not need these bands on to store them. I mean, you can leave them on, but they're not necessary. So I would usually take them off, wash them up, and pack them away for another year. But this year I am going to leave them on for at least the 12 hours. However, they have all popped. So in my opinion, that means that they are all sealed and preserved. So I'm very happy with the number I got this year. And I have tasted my sample over here, and it tastes really good. Not too much cilantro, just the right amount of everything. So very happy with the produce I got this year, and very happy with the number of cans of salsa I got this year. Alright, so if you like this video, can you please give me a thumbs up, hit that like button so that the YouTube algorithm will know to share my videos. And if you want to know more about what's going on in my corner of the world, hit that subscribe button over there to Kilm's Country Corner. And if you know of any family or friends that might enjoy my lifestyle, be sure and share my videos. I talk about a wide range of subjects. I try to narrow in on homesteading topics such as canning, cooking, gardening, vegetable gardening, flower gardening, herb gardening. I talk about my chickens and my poultry. I talk about my pets, you know, my good old farm dog Paulo, always out there. But sometimes my life leads me off of the homestead, and I go traveling with my sister or my brother or John, and so you'll get to see some hikes and national parks and day trips. Sometimes I'm visiting with Karen and my grandchildren, so you'll get a few videos with them. Sometimes I go down to see my daughter Katie in Colombia and visit her, and we do day trips. So I have a wide range of topics on my channel. I am setting up a second channel for just family videos, but I know that some subscribers like to see an occasional video about my grandchildren. So I'll still put in maybe 1 or 2 a year, but I won't bombard you with my family. I'll try to stick to just homesteading topics. But until I get family videos transferred over to that other channel, you might find a few of them. So I want to mainly keep with homesteading topics and my traveling, because that's just too many channels to try to set up one for each category. But let's say that you're only interested in the homesteading. Go to my homepage, go to the playlist, and I have playlists set up for just my gardening and just my canning and just my chickens. I have a variety of playlists that you can choose from so that you can narrow what your interest is. But so check out my channel page. I've also set up a PayPal account in case there's anyone out there that might have a few extra dollars that they could contribute to my channel, to my cause, to help me purchase the materials that I need to do these homesteading projects and to keep my channel going. If you're able to contribute, I appreciate it. And if you're not, I totally understand. I'm doing the videos anyway. So, thank you for coming today, and I hope to see you again. Bye for now. If you are a beginning canner or an experienced canner, I highly recommend this book. It is the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. It has hundreds of recipes and lots of details about canning that all canners should know, and just a very complete book, and highly recommend it. And here are my 10 jars of the fresh vegetable salsa that I made from it. That's on page 263. Alright, talk to y'all later. Bye for now.